Mauri ora e te whānau. Welcome into episode 50, man. I was just like talking to two just before. I was like, man, let's just freestyle this intro because we made it to episode 50. That's 50 consecutive episodes, one after the other, two a week for pretty much every week of this season so far. It's phenomenal that we've made it so far. We were looking rough around episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5. We were like, oh man, this is a drag. Can we make it? Can we do it? So to make it to 50 episodes in our first season is a huge milestone, huge achievement. So thank you all so much for supporting us. Shout out to 99 Dreams for making this reality, and for all of you listeners, near, far, friends, family, and those who are new to the kaupapa, you are now friends and whānau. Just know that we are all one here, and this is an amazing accomplishment for us. So thank you for sticking with your hosts, Tukoerangi and Rawiri, and for joining us on this journey as we dive deep into the thrilling world of the NRL and Rugby League today. As we decipher the competition, we break down where our hopes and dreams lie in each of our teams and players, and in each of these games. As we've ridden the roller coaster of this season so far, it's been a tumultuous one. It's been ups, there's been downs, and currently I'm in the pits. I'm in the pits with mine, but at least one of us can ride the highs this season. But from the try line to the sideline, ladies and gentlemen, we've got you covered.
Yeah, man. I mean, episode 50, we made it. Humble beginnings is where we started. We're still humble, but we're no longer beginning. We're in it. We're here. We're doing the thing, and we're getting better each week. So, yes, thank you to everyone for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. And hopefully we'll be at 50 more. No doubt we will. We're here for the long run. We're here for the practice run. We're here for it all. So, yes, shout out to everyone. And other than that, man, as always, the practice run is for everyone. Every run, every tackle, every win, experience the rush with us.
And now we always talking about the practice squad. So what better time than on 50 episodes as to start thinking about how we can set up the practice squad for you, for me, for everyone. We just want to create a space where the whānau can come together and just share our love for sports and the NRL. Because currently, man, if we had the capacity to, we'd touch on everything, man. We got the Olympics popping off right now. That's going crazy. I think it was France that won the men's seven. Shout out France. Congrats. We've got the NFL season about to kick off soon. We've got the MLB seasons kicking off. We've got the NRLW season that just kicked off in the weekend just gone, and there were some bangers. No pun intended. Did you check out that Parramatta Broncos game? Holy heck, the Wahine are bringing it, man. So there's just so much sport, and eventually we'd love to be able to touch on all of that stuff for you guys. But right now, we just want to lock in and keep it on the NRL. So if you want to see more about the practice run and the practice squad, we can get that sort of for you, because every practice run takes us one step closer to glory.
I don't know where to go from here, to be honest. Reckon we just dive in?
Hey man,
You reckon?
it's episode 50, brother. It's episode 50. You just freestyle how you want it, man. It's the new wave of the intro. Just let the Modi take over.
Hey, well, as always, right? The practice squad, where every listener is MVP. And every listener we've had so far, they are our MVP, and we do it for you and we do it for us. What a journey that started for upskilling each other. I think it's turned into a journey of getting to know each other and supporting one another through these tough times. And as like you said, touching on and talking about this game that we love, the NRL. But we've been doing that, powering our play every episode, every day.
And one last huge thank you, not just to 99 Dreams, but to you guys, the listeners that tune in, week out, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever platform you're listening on. Thank you so much, because you guys keep us going. Humble beginnings, with what quality equipment we have, but also the quantity of our whānau. And it's not always about the quantity, it's about the quality of our listeners, and we appreciate all of you guys so much. So yeah, from the bottom to the top of our hearts, if that's the same, yeah, thank you all so much from all of the heart, from all of the hearts. So far, now we've got a huge episode lined up for you guys today. We're battling some technical difficulties. Obviously, you can see a lot of shadow coming up on one half of my screen as opposed to having equal lighting. This is just some of the technical difficulties we're facing here, man. Like we said, humble beginnings, right? Humble beginnings. We've got to keep it humble. I'll look to have a fix for my end for Wednesday. We'll make sure that Wednesday's good. But yeah, look, we've got a huge episode in store. We're going to just talk about, some of the highs and lows that we're facing coming into this project for the practice run, what it took for us to get to 50 episodes from where we began to where we are now, and looking ahead to the future. What are some of our goals for this channel, for this project? We'll dive into some of the key games from the weekend. Now that I lost my monitor, it just prompted me. I do need to pull that up on my other screen, but we will go over some of the big games in the weekend. We will wrap up with, obviously, the biggest game of the weekend. Two's Bulldogs going up against my Brisbane Broncos, and we'll talk about some of the other things that have happened since that game for one of our teams anyway. Hopefully it's not true, but yeah. Then we'll round it out with our team of the week and our power rankings. But before we do any of that, it's paper, scissors, rock, and then we're going to dive into my GM mode, making its triumphant return. And this time, I'm rebuilding the Manly Warrior Sea Eagles. So far, no, episode 50, putting the vibes out there. I'm putting the vibes out there. Hey, someone who's going to watch this back, try and call what I'm going to throw and try and call what Two's going to throw before we throw it. I'm going to probably watch this back in about 2 weeks. And I'm going to try and remember. It's hard when you play paper, scissors, rock twice a week and then do it every week to remember what each of us throw. So yeah, anyway, let's get into it. For those who don't know, welcome to episode 50. We play paper, scissors, rock every episode. And it just works how it does. Paper beats rock, rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper. We don't keep score unless it's against a guest. And so far, we tied with the guest. So anyone want to come on the show, let us know. We here. All right, hey, you ready, brother?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, throw. And up.
Oh!
It is just not my week, ladies and gentlemen. It is not my week. That was a big win. Okay, so my GM mode, how this series has kind of worked, it kind of just prompted from us wanting a new NRL video game, really. And what we would like to do in this fantasy world of our NRL, okay? This is not real life. And if you're mad that we messed up your team or whatever it is, I don't care. This is fantasy world. This is what we want to see, okay? This is the practice runs fantasy NRL season 1. Okay, we'll do another season another time. We're probably not going to back it up year after year, but this is season 1. We'll come back in a couple of years, readjust, and who knows? Maybe for somehow we pull out of we pull some shit out of our ass, and one of these players on one of our rebuilds ends up on a team. That would be crack up. But today I've been tasked with rebuilding the Manly Sea Eagles. I'm known for quite dramatic changes to teams. If you see my Newcastle Knights rebuild, go and check that out. Or even my Brisbane Broncos rebuild, you can go and check that out, and you can see quite a dramatic change to both of those teams. Whereas 2 takes a more methodological approach. That's a word, eh? Methodical approach. Yeah. Methodical approach to things. He doesn't try and shake things up too much, because you still need that team chemistry, right? And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, sort of thing. So I've noticed that with he doesn't try and bring in too many players and go for broke. I'm trying to build that 2011 Lakers when they had Dwight, Steve Nash and Kobe, that era where they just went for broke and pulled in all of these superstars. So look, I kind of kept it simple this time around. I've gone with. I'm just going to go through my 1 to 7. There is one trade that I would like to try and pass through. I'm pretty sure because everyone else is off contract. But here we go. We are sending Luke Brooks, Tulu Tol Kola,
Ooh.
and who is the other one that I was sending over? Yeah. Let's send another forward. Jake Simpkin to the Melbourne Storm for Tyran Wishart, who has one more season plus a player option left in his contract at Melbourne. And with Cam Munster about to be healthy again, probably next year, I thought, well, why not help Melbourne Storm out a little bit? Give them some depth again at the 6. So if Munster or someone goes down or during that origin period, Luke Brooks can come in. Plus, they get some other players that we can throw in there to help, give Melbourne Storm some depth whilst giving Manly a 6 who could probably take over that team when Daly Cherry Evans probably looks to retire in the next year or two. So that's where we went there. So do you approve that trade?
Yes. I thought you might be giving the Storm too much, to be honest. But yeah, if that's
Hey
your
man,
trade, that's your
hey man,
trade.
look. When you're trying to trade away Luke Brooks, you gotta make it a little bit sweeter for the other team. I know we heap praise on him at the start of the season, but look, man, 21 games into the season. I haven't seen much since game 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm pulling the plug on that Luke Brooks trial. That's a Melbourne problem now, and I kind of sweetened that deal with players that I can kind of say, please take him, please take him. Okay. Another player that we picked up on waivers is the recently told to go look elsewhere, Valentine Holmes. So I thought, hey, man, it's a calling because we need another centre. I want to put Tommy Talau out there on the wing. So who better to have on his inside than Valentine Holmes? So, hey, I thought, let's pick up Val Holmes. The second player that I thought we'll pick up is at hooker because I was like, I don't even know who Manly's hooker is. So I was like, man, let's just give it a jam. He was playing pretty well. I know he's getting some big scores in fantasy early on in the season before his team's season went down the shitter. And I think he must have got injured and he hasn't made it back into the team. So, hey, we'll probably be able to pick him up for cheap. And that's Joey Lussick from the Parramatta Eels. Pick him up in that starting hooker role and just see what happens, really. So the team 1 through 13 looks like Tom Trbojevic, Jason Saab, Ruben Garrick, Valentine Holmes, Tommy Talal, Tyran Wishart, Daly Cherry Evans, Jake Trbojevic, Joey Lussick, Taniela Paseka, Haumole Olokoatu, Ben Trbojevic, Nathan Brown on the bench, Lehi Hopoati, Matt Lodge, Ben Condon, Ethan Ballymore, and Carl Lawton. I had no idea who to get rid of, who to keep in this team. Again, like we both said at the start of the year, like who is a Manly fan? I got you guys a couple of stars there, Manly. I got you a couple of stars. I feel like it's an upgrade to what you currently have. I mean, you got a 6 who can play. You got a new center. I mean, come on, man. He's a former NFL running back. He played for the Jets. Come on now. What are your thoughts on this team, brother?
Simple moves. I like it. Wishart is proving to be quite the player at Storm this season. So to bring him over is, I think, a great move. Valentine Holmes, he just brings experience, right? He's won a Premiership Origin player, so adding him to your team, I think it's a good move, smart move. It seems like, you're kind of in it to win it for the next year, right? All in. And then, yeah, man, got no real complaints. I'm not really a Manly fan either, so that's half the reason why I gave them to you, because I was like, I don't want to rebuild them. Give it to you.
I mean, it looks like a team that can compete. I mean, there's not too much that's different from their current team, and their current team is doing bits. I thought, maybe they could upgrade in the halves, probably upgrade in the centers. I think the only downfall to this team will be their health. Tom Trbojevic probably go down. I think Daly Cherry Evans is a pretty healthy player, eh? He doesn't often get injured. He just is always out for origin duties and things like that. Olakau'atu, origin player, Paseka, he's a strong player. Oh, I think I got rid of like Josh Aloiai and things like that. Probably could have bundled a few more players together to try and bring in a bigger player at hooker, probably. I feel like that's probably the weakest spot of this Manly side. I don't even know who your current hooker is, to be honest. They might be good. They might be, I don't know. But probably could have tried to package some players together. Maybe use Lehi Hopoate as some trade bait, along with Josh Aloiai and a few others to try and bring in a quality hooker from somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere, maybe Super League, because I feel like all the hookers, the teams that have them will want to keep them. I don't think teams are kind of out there getting rid of any hookers anytime soon. It's kind of that's a dry market. If you want a fullback, dime a dozen, you can get a fullback anyway. But I think it's the hookers that are a bit tight at the moment. Before I got Tyrone, I was thinking maybe try and bring over AJ Brimson, but he just signed a new contract with the Titans that is long term. And I thought, man, if I try to trade a 6 and a centre, I don't know if they'll take that. And then I thought, maybe what if I try to go for Keanu Kinney? But then I was like, well, Tom, he's our fullback, so I can't really shift him. And if I do put him into the centres, then what do I do with Garrick? So I was like, well, can't go Kinney route because I'm pretty sure they want to keep Kinney and Campbell. So I thought AJ might be expendable.
Yeah.
But who knows? We'll see what other teams that we take control of can come up with in terms of making moves. Speaking of making moves, next week will be your last week before you go on your hiatus, eh?
Yeah, I believe so. It should be good for next week.
Okay. So we might be able to get away with it. We might be able to. So if you do next week, then you're away Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday.
I think it's the... Oh, where's the date? I'm good next week, Monday, Wednesday, and then I'm good the following Monday. Then it's from that Wednesday onwards.
Okay. You might do back-to-back weeks. So you might do a team next week and then the following Monday, and then I can do for that one you're away. Yeah. And that way we just kind of, nothing changes. So you'll back-to-back. So I'll pick your two teams. Your first team this coming week, you can rebuild. You know what? Because you don't like Queensland teams so much. I'm going to give you the Dolphins.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Show me what you can do with those Dolphins, bro.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I even try to think about like all the other teams that I could rebuild at the same time, and I'm pulling in pieces and trying to fit a puzzle together. Like I had Val Holmes on a different team that I had already rebuilt in my head. He was playing on a different team, but I was like, Manly need a centre. Oh, we're taking Val. So, you've got the Dolphins next week, bro. You got the Dolphins. Just off the top of your head right now, is there anyone that's absolutely they're cut from the team?
That's cut from the team.
Yeah. Just off the top of the head, who do you think's got to go?
Oh, well, I'm already losing half the team. Aren't they all retiring?
Most of them look like they're medically retired.
I'm pretty sure Jesse's gone. Yeah.
I think Jess is retired.
Okay, I mean, Kenny might be retiring. Kafusi.
Flegler is still 50-50. Flegler.
Yeah, I know Flegler. Oh, come on. Tessie New.
That's going to be a tough one.
He might be one of the ones that gets the cut. Fuck. All right. Yeah. We'll see what
it's a good challenge, though. Like with the Seagulls, it's a good challenge because, like you said with the Bulldogs, right? They're already challenging for a title, so it's like there's not much you want to change there. So I kind of took that same philosophy with the Seagulls, and I was like, well, they're still competing. The only person who wasn't 100% penciled in on my starting lineup or on my team,
Who?
Have it just try a guess out of all of the players.
What,
Who do you
on
think?
the Seagulls?
On the Seagulls. I'll give you a hint. They're a forward.
What? Who wasn't a guarantee?
Yeah.
What, forward? Who's not too sure? You would have had Paseka, surely. Travojevic
Yeah, I was,
would
I
have
was,
been
I was
there.
big on Pasika at the
Yeah,
start of the year.
Alakoata would have been there. Oh, Ben's a centre. Eh? Who's the other second rower? Is that who it was?
Yeah. I try to find a way to wrap him up in a trade package and get rid of him. Not having a bar. I was like, shucks, can I get rid of him? Who's on their bench? No one good enough to take his spot. Damn. And I was thinking, maybe if I put him in that package, I can get Howarth. But I was like, nah, he's on a store. He's carving at the moment. Maybe if I did that before Howarth started with Melbourne, maybe we could have got away with it because they're like, oh, I'm not really using him anyway, so might as well. But nah, now he's carving. He's doing bits. So yeah, Ben stayed.
Okay.
But if you're
Right,
looking
okay,
to
I
make
got
a
a few.
trade for Ben Travojevic with the Dolphins, let us know. Let us know. He could be gone
Oh,
for the right price.
well, I think we're looking to. I think we're gonna go the rebuild route and try build a team that's in about 2 or 3 years going to be competing. So we got to get
Similar
worse
to
before
like
we get better.
that's true. Well, similar to like how I did with the Knights, or not quite as extreme.
Well, not as extreme as that because I don't have a Kalen Ponga to get rid of.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
I
true.
think Hammer's still young enough to like grow with these ones. You know what I mean? So, or actually, how old is he? If he's a certain age. Oh
Is he
no,
like
he's
25?
22. This one, this is according to Zero Tackle. He's only 22 years old.
Oh,
Fuck,
what?
that doesn't seem right, eh?
Gee, was it one of those bloody? Have you seen that Benchwarmers movie? And they get that guy with the $100 note, and he's like, "I am 18 to play in their baseball team."
Bro, he is 22. This is crazy. I thought he's been
That's
around for
crazy.
ages.
Surely you just build around the hammer.
Yeah,
The
well,
hammer,
because if he
Katoa.
was over 25, he was probably going to get traded.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's in the age. Yeah,
Because
him and
you
Katoa are
got
like the two that
Bostock.
aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, because you got
Yeah,
Bostock,
Bostock's
Katoa,
still around.
Herbie, the hammer, and Plath, Max Plath. Those probably be your
Yes.
5 safe stars to build around.
Yep. Fuck, I know Jeremy Marshall King just signed a deal, but bit
Yeah,
too
he's kind
injury,
of like,
brother.
yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. Some things to work on and build
Yes.
off of as you come into next week. At least it's a fun team. You get to have a little bit of fun and you don't worry about it. Who's the coach coming in next year too?
It's what's his name? Wolf.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. Look, clean slate for the brother. How fun is that? All
Yes.
right. Well, bro, episode 50, man. We've come a long way. Come a long way since. When did we start back up? Like Feb? Hey, early Feb, just
Yeah,
before
well, it was a
preseason.
while ago. Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah, man. It's looking back now, wasn't really as structured as what we've kind of got it down to. And we're still refining as we go, but wasn't as structured, eh?
Yeah, those first couple runs were just literally practice runs. You know, just having a little tattoo, jumping on, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and then I think it just grew organically. You know, we kind of learnt,
Yeah,
um, was it like what we're good at? Kind of found our little niche, uh, how we work well together as a team. You know, it's kind of just grown. It's taken over time. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's getting better and better every week. I feel it's getting more natural. the ebb and flows. There's not too many. Feel as though it's a lot more even keel now, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact is, we don't really have to like. We talk a little bit like before we jump on here about what the rundown is, but we have a fair idea of what we're talking about, you know, and what's going to happen in episodes. So we're not coming in as blind. It's more just to like touch up, like, oh, are we still doing this? What about this? You know, so it feels a lot more smooth. It's running a lot more smoother now, and
yeah, less rough seas. The seas are kind of mellowed out. There's probably still a storm out there waiting to happen. I think that's with all the technical difficulties, the storm. But the seas feel fairly calm at the moment. It's like you say, not predictable, but we've got it to a routine that we know we come in and we sit now A, B, C, and D, and let's just attack it.
Yeah, and it was, you know, like personally, those first couple episodes were so rough, you know. Like, I'd switched laptops. Like, I was on my personal laptop. That camera's trash. Utterly trash. You know, so now we had to jump on the work laptop, and I was like, oh, at least it looks a little bit better, you know. And it was a little tough going those first, like, I don't know, 10 episodes. You know, it got to a point where
definitely
it was
like 10 or so, eh?
Yeah. I got to a point where I was like, oh man, I gotta shoot this damn podcast. Like this is a drag and it takes so long. I think that's the biggest difference from when we first started to now. They don't take as long to shoot. Well, I feel as though they don't, you know. And the ones that do go on longer than like what we plan, it's kind of because, you know, we're getting sidetracked a bit, but like go off in tangent in a good way, you know. Where before we'll just go off tangent and we'll be like, well, like up to, like, what are we doing? You know, but now it's just like the tangents we go and it's like, oh yeah, keep going, you know. So yeah. Well, that's what it's been like for me. The biggest difference from starting to like where we are now is definitely the flow, how more to put together it is, and still got a ways to go, but we'll get there.
Yeah, hard. It definitely the flow of everything just works, and we're able to feed off of one another a lot better. I feel in the beginning it was a lot of I'll say XYZ and then wait for a response, and then you'll say XYZ, and then it's a lot of double up. I think we're doubling up on a lot of things and just funneling information down the same funnel. We're just repeating ourselves. But I think, you know, over the past couple of months, we've sort of got to a space now where we're just like, oh yeah, let's hit on it. We still tangent, but like you said, like our tangents now are kind of productive based, or if it's me, I'm just ripping in on the Broncos. That's all my tangents have been lately. It's just how pathetic they've been. So it's, I just have enjoyed the way we've been able to evolve and develop, and even with our delivery online, it's changed. So early on, it was a lot of and I think and it was just like long pauses, and we weren't quite sure where we were going. Or like I said, we'll go hit on this point, and then we'll run back to it. Hit on that point, and we'll run back to it. So it was like, we've found a way now where we can kind of like look at the score sheet from that weekend, look at some of the stats, and go, oh yeah, sweet, that's right, that's what happened. Boom, blah blah blah. Boom, on to the next game. So I feel like we're in a good rhythm, and we just need to keep building. Our audience is slowly getting better. It's so easy to sort of look at other shows that just pop up or other shows that have been going on for a while and think, man, they got a huge audience, they got this and that. Man, we're just two dudes, right, from Otago University. We have zero audience to begin with. So we're just trying to like bring in any pool that we can and just keep them with our vibes, with our kupuho, our new words. We're just, I think so often you can look at those other creators and go, man, they've got everything. But you also got to remember that either those people already worked in media, or they're former professional players. They're newly retired players that are in this space. So, it's hard. to compete against that, but we're not trying to compete directly with what they've got going on. We're doing our own thing over here, hence why we got my GM mode, and we try to bring in other fun games to mix it up. We're not quite the Sport Cafe type with the Mark Ellis and all those kinds, where they just do hilarious things all the time. And we're not two former players that can break the game down like Big Willie and Justin Horo can, or what's his name? Former Bronco.
Oh, Kempy.
That's the one. Yeah, or break games down like Kempy can. But what I can say is we'll give you honest, raw opinions straight from the couch, but we always keep it respectful. We're never one to tear down another player for their own personal characteristics. Might be for what they played, how they played on the field, just laugh at them for that. But we'll never say that, XYZ is a this or a that because they missed a kick, or because they missed a tackle, or because they dropped the ball off the kickoff, which gave Jonathan Thurston a kick from out in front in the grand final. But, shit happens. Still not over that, man. Still not over that. It hurts. So I like our growth, our platform that we're building. Season 1, man. No one really remembers season 1 except for people that rewatch those series. Like, can you ever remember what happened season 1, friends? Nah, not without rewatching the series, man. So I think we're doing good. We're tracking well. We're building a solid foundation here at the practice run, and I'm enjoying the process. I think I'm really enjoying the process. I'll same as you. Some nights you're just like, bruh, all right,
Yep.
yeah, let's get on, record, yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah.
But it feels like
some nights.
once, do you go?
You go.
I feel like sometimes once you hit record, all of that kind of just, and you just get into it, and you're just like, for that one that we wanted to skip right through, we ended up hitting like an hour 50, just yarning about different aspects of the games and stuff like that. So it's always, I think, a drag getting online. But once you're here, it goes smoothly. Kind of like any kind of job. Your whole heart, I gotta get up for work, gotta go. Or like going for a workout, sometimes you don't really want to go, but you push yourself through it. And then once you're on the other side of it, you're like, oh, nah, that was on. I had fun.
Yeah, it's definitely the one thing I've learned from it all is the consistency. Going back to the start, like I said, those first 10 episodes, man, it was tough. No, there's no getting around it. It was just tough. The late nights. But now it's like, it's scheduled in. Like, and I tell people, my nights, Tuesday, Thursdays, like they're long days, but like it's scheduled in. And it's a part of like what I do now. So now, like, I don't look at it as like, oh man, I gotta do this thing. It's like, oh yeah, like tonight's the night, getting on with the bro. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe I have about it now. And that's like the biggest mindset that's changed for me in terms of doing this. And what was the other thing? Oh, there are some nights, like, I'm just gonna say, man, Origin nights are fucking long. They are long.
Bro.
Oh my goodness,
Try editing it.
I know, like, I don't even, you edit it all, man. I don't know how you do it, man. But for those, like, I guess we can kind of like break down the 4-4 now at the 50th episode to give people insight. So the way like Origin nights are structured, I'm just lucky there's only 3 of them, right? We're just lucky 3, because man, if there was more, we get on, we shoot it's always the preview episode, right? Yeah. So we shoot the preview episode before the Origin game happens, so that's all done. We then watch Origin and then jump back on after Origin game's finished, and then do like, go over the review of the Origin show. But because the way it comes out on video means when we do the preview, we can just talk about it, just talk about the games, quickly get through it, and then watch the game, and then come back when we do the Origin part. We also have to do the intro to it, so that goes a little bit longer. But for anyone that doesn't know, because we're watching it from, Aotearoa, kickoff for us is 10 o'clock our time, which means that the game isn't finishing until like damn near close to midnight, which means we jump back on like probably around midnight, and then we got like another half an hour to like 45 minutes to go. So every Origin night, it's long. We're recording it from maybe like 8, and it's going all the way through to well after midnight. It's just, man, we love Origin, but fuck me, those nights are long. They are the longest nights doing the podcast, man. And it's tough. Those are tough, those nights.
I think the next hardest night is going to be the grand final, because the same thing. We're going to have to do But hey, it's challenging, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, we are shattered by the end of that. And you can probably see, if you watch the YouTubes, you can definitely see just how whole Ahu is like, as like tired as, and then for all of a sudden there's like a little cut in the video, and then we're diving into the weekend's game. It's because it's filmed in reverse, man. And otherwise we're gonna be up until 2-3 a.m. recording, and then I'm up until like 4-5 just editing, getting it out so that it's releasing at 12:30 p.m. New Zealand time every week. And that's just a standard that we try to make sure that we adhere to, just as consistent as we are logging on. We try to make sure that our episodes drop as consistently as possible for you guys who listen in almost every week, man. We just it's crazy. It's 100% crazy Origin period. I hate it. Hopefully, like, one year we're in like Australia to go and watch Origin live, so that way it's like regular time when we're in Australia. And we'll at least be in the same room so we can just vibe that way.
That's I guess like the next step there is getting a couple episodes where we're in the same room together, so that way lag's not going to be an issue. Then we can vibe and stuff like that. Probably be a little bit more chill, and just a little bit more easier, less technical difficulties. But hey, we'll get there. It's just a matter of time, but we'll get there.
And I feel what's the word? It's it's about just appreciating that journey, so that when we hit that destination, it's like, yo, finally. And hey, we'll have refined our skills so much that if anyone wants to, I think you'll have to scroll back a little bit on YouTube. You can find from our Wellington trip, Two's first ever appearance on camera. It's he takes a little bit to get into the mood. It's a slow start from the brother there, and it takes a little bit to get into the mood of that. To go from that as your first experience on our camera through to where we're at now, it's bro. The growth is mean. You even got your own set of videos going out for your BFT challenges. Shit. I didn't think that would be a 2 thing to do back in the day, but look at you now, bro. What are you, like 30-something days in?
Oh, I think the last one finally dropped day 40. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't want to do it. I still don't like doing it. It's kind of like the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it kind of, now it's like, who cares? Just get it out there. Just see how it goes. Yeah, I've never been a social media person, not one to like jump on social media, do any of that stuff. But we're here, and you're crazy, right? Like, if you had told me I would have dropped 40 like reels, I would have laughed in your face, let alone do 50 episodes of a podcast, I would have laughed harder at your face. But it just goes to show, man, we're here now. Do I like it? Have my days, I guess. I don't hate it anymore. So it's gotten a little bit easier to do. And humble beginnings. Let's see where it goes to, and you just never know, right? But no, it's been a hell of a journey, and to be a part of it. I guess question I was going to say is like, what have been some of your highlights of like the first 50 episodes? Was there anything that like sticks out to you?
Yeah, there's heaps of different moments. I think that are stuck out. Like a lot of it would be off of our games that we come in and we try to bring to the show. Like our Guess Who's just thinking like, where'd you get this person from, G? Like, and then just trying to understand that mindset of, oh shit, okay, Two's picked someone from, X region. They played here. Their state of origin reps. Who the fuck is that? And so I really enjoyed those games because it gets you thinking. That quiz, you versus Benja, bro, he was battling.
Oh yes, I remember that. The poor bro. Just wasn't his night that night. I was just locked in. The minute I could hear Chris, I was like, yeah, I already know it. I already got it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Because
I was
you won the
thinking
paper scissors rock too that day too.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Had to hold it down for the team. And then, I was just too much in flow state when it came to that quiz. I was like, he does not stand a chance. Like, unless the question is so left field. I was like, nah, I'm too locked in, mate. Too locked in. Yeah.
Yeah, that was enjoyable. A lot of just the random kupuho that come up on both sides. Just, like what was the one the other week? The underassumed? That got me.
The underassumed. That's probably my favorite part from like his first 50 episodes is, you're like kupuho, and then your pronunciation of the players' names. Like, the amount of times I've been like, how the hell did you get that? What?
Trent Luyero.
And now, like, because I've said it. Yeah, because we've said it so many times now, it's just like I don't even know who Griffin Neem is. Like, who's Griffin Neem? You know what I mean?
It's Niambe.
Oh man, there've been some good ones. It's just like, and it's so funny because like the first few episodes, right, when we would rattle off the team list. And I always seen, like I'm reading it with you, and I'd always be thinking, oh, here we go. He's about to get into the hard name. I wonder how he says this.
What was it? It's that hooker from frickin' South that gets me too.
Peter Mamazalis.
Yeah. I just call him. I've heard a new one. Gee, he's just Peter Amadeus. Amadeus.
Oh, I'm trying to think of you've had so many of them that have just been like gold to me. I'm like, where does he get this from?
Yeah, shucks.
Man.
If you pull up a team, there's probably like more than 8 in those teams.
Yeah.
Helium?
Oh, yes, helium.
That was wretched.
It was the confidence for me.
Just straight into it, eh? Helium, Lukey. Halo.
Oh, man.
Who else? Trent Luyero. He's a good one.
Yeah.
There's a couple of that Melbourne team, eh?
Yeah, I feel as though you had one for almost every team, and I was like, how is this guy doing this? Like, what is he doing?
I just assume some of the white names, you pronounce them like Maori.
Yeah.
R's, eh?
Yep, that was it.
Those are some good moments.
Yeah, those are.
I wonder if I've got enough patience and time at the end of the year. Maybe I'll clip together a whole bunch of those. We'll put a recap out of all of those. What are we calling them? Mispronounced kupu.
Yeah, you can almost go with the whole NRL team with mispronounced.
Mispronounced tangata. Ooh, that'll be a crack up one. We'll look to do something like that because obviously over the off season, we'll take a break from our regular scheduled recording, just so me and the bro can wind down, relax as we head into the new year. By the time that comes around, and then we'll pick up again in the preseason. You'll hear back from us then, and then we'll look to get to episode 100. And I'm sure we can make 150 by next year. If we got to 50 and it's only like round 20 something.
Yeah, it would be either close to 150 by the end of next year. We'll definitely hit 100 though. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely hit 100. If you guys are listening, man, comment down below something you'd love to see us do at 100 episodes. And we'll try and make it happen, man. We'll see what we can do about that. Over to you, brother. What do you think has been like the biggest challenge that you've noticed that you've been able to overcome? So we've talked about the late nights, we've talked about the getting over that hoha papa. What's something personally you think that this has helped you overcome?
Ooh, that's a great question. Oh, I think I probably answered it actually. Just overcoming their social media buzz. Or like kind of, I wouldn't say leaning into it because I don't think I lean into it really, but at least like giving it a go, and just
Yeah.
seeing what it's about. Still a challenge every day though. Still a challenge every week. I'm like, but no, it's definitely getting a little bit easier. Could I think of any other challenges? Not anymore. Not like how it was at the start. I felt we hit a groove somewhere like, I almost want to say like mid 20 episodes. It felt like, I
Yeah.
don't know what point it happened, but I just felt we hit a groove. And then from there, it just became easier and easier. And yeah, I couldn't like pinpoint the exact moment, but it definitely felt like there was an episode there where things just clicked. And then it was kind of like, oh, this ain't that bad. Like, yeah, I could keep doing this. And then it actually started becoming enjoyable to like jump on and do it, And it's like, oh, okay, now this is yeah. Well, we're here now. Like we got through
Yeah.
that early stage, yeah. Um, but yeah, I can't really think of anything else off the top other than just jumping in, give it a go. What about? Should we quickly jump into because the practice run was originally meant to be a trio. And if you followed us from the start, you would know that. And
Yeah.
you would know that from our intro, which has changed with the times. But our third amigo, who has been missing for about 45 episodes, or for about 95%.
49.
how, many, how many episodes has he actually done? He done our first like practice run, the one that did it get recorded or uploaded?
It got recorded. It hasn't been uploaded. He
Oh, I
he
never
did
got
like
uploaded.
practice. That's the what we'll call that the pilot episode before
Yeah,
episode
that was
one
like
come out.
right. That's right. Yes, and that was. I have to admit, man, that was probably one of the funnier ones. Again, because like all three of us are learning together. Like we have no idea. The one thing I remember most from that episode is the ending. Do you remember how we were like, let's practice our sign off. Let's just see how it goes. Because like our intro and our sign off has kind of it's evolved over time, and it's more like refined now, and we kind of know like what's happening, like what's gonna say. Like the ending isn't scripted, but I pretty much, because I've done it so many times, I know like the few lines that I do say regularly. But man, we were practicing that on the pilot episode, and then we're like, okay, you have to come in hot. Let's finish off hot, bring some energy, and then you do your part, and we're like, yeah, that's it. I jump in, do my part, and then give it to the brother Vince, and he just. I remember because me and you were both like, bruh, like, what was that? Like, nah, you gotta do that again, man. Run it back. You're like, fuck, and now here we are, like, giving out energy, giving on. And then you come up with that. So then we did it again. We're like, come on, Vince, you've got it, bro. You've got it. And I remember, like, hitting the line, and I'm like, surely he goes with that. And then he just goes, nope. And I'm like, oh, brother. Oh.
Bro, we
Man.
gave our all, man. We hit bases loaded. The bro just had to hit us a
Yeah.
single. All we needed was a single, and we're getting across the line. We win the game. If he hits a home run, that's a grand slam. We walk off.
I just remember thinking, brother, I threw you an alley hoop. All you had to do was grab it and slam dunk it, and you laid it up. I was like, nah, you can't do that. I can't leaving us hanging out here. Oh,
Nah, that was a brick
Oh
floater,
man,
G, off the back of the rim.
I couldn't believe it. I was mad. I was like, "Fuck, I'm mad now."
Yeah, shucks. Maybe
Oh,
I'll drop that over that
oh
Christmas period
man.
as well, just for some
Oh,
extra new content, some fresh content for you guys. But oh man, that was a highlight. Oh, I mean, I still wish we had a trio.
yeah.
I wish the brother Vince did have some extra time that he could have seen this out with us, because it would have been crack up. There would have been a lot more Tigers slander, um, just especially with where
Could
they're
have
at
been
on
a
the
lot
table.
more.
Even with my team being as shit as we are at the moment, we ain't the Tigers. So, there's a hierarchy here of who would get shat on the most, and it wouldn't be me. I'll be getting shat on a little bit, but not the most. Not the
Yeah.
most.
Oh man.
Well, what do you think?
Jeez.
Like, what do you think the dynamic would have been like if we did have the trio?
It's hard to say, eh? Because the episodes, well, what we've only had one, right? Where we had the bro Ben on.
Yeah,
Um, it's just because we're so used to each other. We've kind of found our space in the podcast now. Bringing in that third, I think it would take us quite a few episodes to like find each other again. Almost have to like find our spots again. Uh,
yeah,
so it's hard to say. It definitely would have been, that's a third person that they're bringing in their like expertise, their personality. So I'm not too sure. I'm always down to see, always down to try it out. Um, Again, right? Because on days where like you don't have it, like I can carry the load. On days where I don't have it, you carry the load. Luckily, we haven't had a day where we both haven't had it, or like been here but like not really present. If that makes sense. So
yeah,
having that
yeah,
third person on a day where like we both don't have it, like, oh come on brother, like we're gonna need you to
yeah,
carry the load here, carry the boat for us for this one episode. Uh, would have been cool. I think there would have been more segments in, maybe a few segments we've done that wouldn't have made it, or kind of like defining that role as what that third person would be doing, or maybe they would have changed our roles as to what we do. Yeah,
yeah. True, true. We could, if we're implementing a third, I think, and this is just in my mind, this is just my mind working based off of what you've just said. If we were to implement a third, we could potentially utilize them as our go-to for stats. So just making sure that they've pulled up every game, locating key players, key roles in those positions, but also us just yelling out to them to search up different things. So they kind of be our gopher, our runner. So it's
yeah,
still that dynamic, you and me, but then we go, all right, Daily Cherry Evans, pull up this, pull up that. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Or if we're at a stalemate, you're saying it's Reese Robinson. Oh, I'm saying it's Reese Robinson for the hooker in game one. You're saying it's Ben Hunt. We pull
oh
in Daily
yes,
Cherry Evans. Oh yeah, who's our tiebreaker here for things like that, and we kind of just get them to pull us back if ever we get too far off of track again. Because sometimes both of us get lost in that. Because
yeah,
I'm like, oh, yo, yeah, go off, G,
yeah,
hard, and then I'm
yeah.
like rattling off. And then it'll be good if we have that third just to go, oh yeah, we'll wrap it up, bro, and come back into what is the akamatsu of your cordial.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, because I think originally that's how I kind of viewed what I'd be doing when we were in the chair. I was like, oh, I think I could be like the stats guy and then pull this up and this and that, and then kind of like let you and Vince go back and forth, and I'll just chime in. Uh, so yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? As in that's what that third person role will be doing. And kind of just let us do our thing, and we just chime in, be our stats person, be our runner, pull up all the contracts and all that. I mean, what we pretty much have the TAB segments earmarked for someone.
Yeah, yeah,
So
because bro,
we have those
I'm not
bits,
it.
yeah. But hey, who knows? I mean, if someone wants to put up their name, be their third person, we could run a trial, see how you go, give you a couple episodes.
Yeah, I think it'll have to be like a 3 episode trial. If you ain't it after 3 episodes, If you just keep throwing off our chemistry, then that
Yeah, you
you
might
gotta
have to.
go. Yeah, but it also, like, for anyone that actually does want to come on and join us, it takes a lot in the beginning before it becomes a routine. Because like we record twice a week
Yeah.
for we quote it for up to about 2 hours. That gives us pre-game and then the recording, and then if we catch up afterwards, that gives us that just for the space here. So you've just got to be prepared for that. And if we have to do any homework, like building the seagulls, for example, that's stuff we just do outside of that. But look, man, we are open to it. But it's also all goods if no one does jump on. Like, we still got it vibing as is with just the two of us,
Yeah.
and I'm not mad if it goes either way. What do you think has been like, or sorry, no, what do you think is your or one of your visions for the practice run moving forward?
One of my visions, first one, and it's coming. You just got to give me time. It might not be here till season 2. Is definitely upgrading gear. We're
Oh
looking
yeah.
into it. We're just trying to get a budget together, and
Hey,
then
funds be
hopefully,
tight,
yeah.
man.
I mean, I can afford it. I just spend too much money on food. If I'm being honest, it's ridiculous. You should see my food
Say.
bill. It's stupid. But that's definitely one thing. Is upgrading the gear. One vision that I've had is, what visions have I had? Probably just a few more guests, a few more hosts, or like bringing others in.
For
If it's
interviews and things.
yeah, and then just like me and you, yeah, just doing a couple like in person, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of like what it is, and then just seeing where the potty goes, with our views, and then if we get a community, maybe doing a few episodes just living it,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and just having like interaction with the crowd that way. If they got questions, just rolling off that. So it's definitely like heaps of ideas there brewing. It's just kind of fleshing them out, seeing how realistic they are, and then just putting a few of them into plan, and just giving it a go. Because I think that's just kind of how we started and how we roll. Like if we like an idea enough, like, yeah, we'll just give it a go. That's how my GM happened, like
Yeah.
that's how a few of the segments have happened. It's like, oh, what are your thoughts on this? Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Oh, why not? Give it a go here. Yep. And if we like it, it stays. If we don't, you know, because like you don't really notice it, like, or maybe you do, they do, but like a few things that we haven't tried, like that we tried once and then it was like, maybe not. And it's kind of like
Yeah.
doesn't get taken up for the next
Yeah.
episode. You don't really notice it that much. It's just the ones that like stick around. It's like, ah, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's staying. But yeah, should be, yeah, would be good. What about you, bro? Well, what's your visions for the podcast in the next 50 episodes? Where do you see us going?
Yeah, but I'll just continue to build that community, continue to build our audience. Just watch these guys grow and flourish, listening to us two yap on about random topics within the NRL. But I'm hoping that we can link up for the grand final this season. We get that filmed live and in person. We might go live on YouTube live during the game, and then after the game, we'll probably stop the live, and then we'll head over to the recording studio, and we'll get this set up, and we'll just chop it up about that game, break that game down, and we'll get that episode out live ASAP. Try to be one of the first to get ahead of it. It'll just take a little bit of coordinating, because we're going to need to get our team of the game ready. We'll need to have our team of the year, because it won't be the wrap up episode. Maybe we'll save team of the year and all those accolades and stuff for after that grand final. Give us one last episode. But yeah, I just feel like that grand final episode will be a big one, and especially if we live stream before it, just to have an audience already there for us to go. So there's definitely ideas for us to really hash out. But we're hoping the grand final. Who knows where it could? Yeah, like we've talked about, it could be Tauranga, could be Hamilton, could be Taranaki, could be what the hell? Otaki. I was like, what the hell town is it? It could be Otaki. So yeah, we're just going to pencil down that weekend. And we'll try and link that up and get that sorted for you guys. But yeah, I'd love to do, do you ever watch or just see clips of ESPN's college football game day? Like they have those conferences, like something like that, but at a bar or something. We just have our studio set up. We have people behind us and we just interact with them, talk to the cameras, talk on our little panel, roast the fans, roast the camera, like going maybe to like a grand final one year or going to a state of origin, setting up somewhere where maybe we're not going to the game, but we're at a bar nearby and we're with a bunch of people that listen to the show. We can get rowdy with the fans, talk about the game beforehand, maybe do that live and then record that, send it, put it up on the podcast, put it up on Spotify and all that. And then later on afterwards, we can do a breakdown back at the hotel or whatever, wherever it's quieter.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's definitely doable.
Yeah.
I think we can get it done. But yeah, man, it'll be cool to see where we go and how we do
100%. 100%. But look, I feel like that's enough talking about 50 episodes, man. We've come so far. We're thankful for this journey. I know I talked about getting like a cheesecake or something, but I went to New World, man, and like all they had were birthday cakes. And I'm not going to sit out here with a whole ass birthday cake by myself. Like my whānau that I'm living with, they're all sick. So I'll have to eat it regardless. And, we don't momo kai. We don't waste food around here. So I got some biscuits. I got some biscuits.
Whatever are those biscuits?
They're it's too bright. They got a cream in the middle and it's like a shortbread on the outsides. It's a yo-yo.
Well, I got what I said I was gonna get, which is a cookie pizza from Pizza Hut. I got hungry. Like it's you have to eat it. Don't judge me, And I'll definitely be eating a few of these. And of course, we have to get you to see me drinking it throughout this episode. You can't name a better milk chocolate than this.
Today's sponsor.
There we go. Today's sponsor. Lewis Road Cleary. I never believed the hype when they first come out. Then I had one, and then I was like, yep, it's not wrong. Couldn't tell you that there's one better. I don't get it too often, only on special occasions. This is definitely one for here.
I do like Puhoi chocolate milk, though. That gives it a good run for its money.
Oh, yes.
But, yeah. Cheers, brother. Here's the 50. Here's the 50 more. Let's go.
Sure about that.
Wow. Now, because we spent so much time going over our 50 episodes, that's a huge accomplishment for us. Like we said, shaky beginnings, humble beginnings, but we built that rhythm and momentum. So why not celebrate us for a little bit? So tonight we're going to do a bit of a speed run of our weekend's games. We're just going to give you the winners and losers and maybe highlight one or two key players from that game. I'll start with the Warriors, kicking things off Friday night at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. The full-time score was 28-16. That is the Warriors getting the nod over the Tigers. Now, some diehard Warriors fans say they're going to keep their faith. They say the bandwagon is still moving towards the finals. It's limping, but it's getting there. And I think your guys' season hangs on one or two things culminating for you guys to make the 8, but you guys are faithful. Big game, I thought, from Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Just his linking ability, his ability to sort of link the backs, the halves, and the forwards together is what is a huge difference maker in this team with him being at fullback. I know the coaching staff really wanted to keep Charles Klotstad at that fullback role or keep Tane Tuopiki in that fullback role, or keep Rog in the centres or the wing just to keep that experiment alive. But he's a former Dalian medalist for a reason, Fano, and I think I got to eat my words at this part of the season. He looks damn good at that fullback role, and it would have been, maybe nice to see him play there throughout the season. But hey, I know that Roger is a full team player, and so he's just happy to play wherever he is as long as it's in a Warriors jersey. I thought it was a good game from, what's his name again? Jareem Buller. I thought he played all right there, just linking, and Uppy. Uppy is definitely a strong player for the Tigers, and I know he cannot wait for the arrival of Luai and Taruva next season to add some winning experience to this Tigers team, which I think they're lacking. Is just a little bit of that know how to win. Because outside of Uppy, I don't think there's any player on that Tigers team that actually knows how to win, especially in those games where you get down and dirty. So, yeah, look, not a lot of positives for this Tigers team this season, but hey, there's always next year, Fano, and that's what they're going to be hoping for is next year. Over to you for the Eels versus Storms.
Yes, so the final score for the Eels against Storm was 32-14 to the Storm, because it was always going to be that way. Pretty stock standard, really. It was just dominance from the Storm all throughout. I've been saying this podcast for way too long now. Trent Barrett is not it. Not really much else to say, really. I just thought Storm were the Storm. They dominated, did their thing. They scored a few tries off of mistakes that the Eels make. And, Storm are a team that you make mistakes, you have to pay, and they punished you. And I think two of their tries were directly off the Eels' mistakes. But I'm going to keep it pretty much moving. I thought everyone played well. Pat played well. Wishart played well. Hughes just continues to put his foot forward for that Dally M. But yeah, pretty short and sharp that one. For the Eels, just hope that you re-sign Talangi, really, or Blaze. Because if you don't, that's about all you got. And Zach Lomax cannot get there quick enough.
I wonder if he's regretting his decision, like, seeing how much they are.
I mean, and Brad Arthur's not there anymore. Well, they got the coach. I think the coach would have settled them.
Yeah.
Naming the coach for next year. But they got to make changes, and they will be when someone gets them as the GM. Have they been brought up as the GM? No, they haven't.
No, I don't think so.
No. But that is that game. And then you've got the next one, Cowboys v Sharks.
Yeah, so Cowboys took on the Sharks. Fano, not going to lie to you. After the game before this, turned everything off and started playing college football 25 because, well, my night was over. Yeah, I'm allowed to sulk. Fuck you.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I will give a quick overview about this game, even though I didn't watch it. I'm looking at the tries here. I'm looking at the stat line. What I'm going to say, man, is Cowboys have surprised me. They've showed a lot of grit these past few games to get just those wins that you didn't expect them to get. I had Sharks over the Cowboys easily in our preview show that dropped on Thursday. So to see that the Cowboys got up over the Sharks is just, wow, man. That's crazy to me. Where's my little slider? I don't have the slider. Oh, there it is. I'm just having a look at some stats here one time. Where is he? 54 runs, 127 run meters, 33 post-contact meters, 1 line break, 3 line break assists. What else have we got here? 4 tackle breaks. And he still got told to sign for another team next season. Man, that's rough, bro. How can you just get a win against the Sharks, who are, a top 4 team at this point? And then the very next day, shake your hand. Feel free to look elsewhere next year, brother. This isn't for you. This isn't working out. That's rude, man. What I will say is big shout out to Big Griff. most run meters in that game with 177. That was a huge performance from Big Griff, and I think he come off the bench as well. Let me double check that. Yeah, Big Griff off the bench. Foo, mahi dog. So yeah, big game from the Cowboys, getting over the Sharks, keeping their season alive, ladies and gentlemen. Good on the Cowboys. Over to you for the Roosters Seagulls.
Yes, the Roosters Seagulls. This was like touted as one of the games of the round. And the Roosters coming out on top 34-30, which I absolutely loved because it helped my Bulldogs. And also, shout out to the Cowboys because that also helped my Bulldogs in terms of ranking. So, very happy. And this game was just a blitz from the start, eh? Their first 20 minutes, all Roosters, they scored 1, 2, 3, 4 tries inside the first 20. You didn't have Seagulls answer with a try to Luke Brooks. But I mean, at halftime, it was 28-12. What looked to be all a dominant victory for the Roosters. They didn't score first. They scored second after the half. But that last 10 minutes, where I believe it was Clayton got a intercept in the 73rd minute, and then DCE got a try in the 75th minute. I can't remember if that was a run against play as well. But they gave it a close finish. They made the Roosters scare, but the Roosters held on. Storyline of this game, really, Tedesco continues to shine. It might be, sometimes when a player gets dropped, like they don't no longer have that responsibility of like living up to the hype or like I guess not no pressure anymore, because he seems to be a better player this year without the pressure of Origin, and it's really showing. He is winding back the clock, and from what I'm hearing, it's him and Hughes are the two front runners to win the Dally M Award, which is crazy to think, because he seems to be getting older, Teddy, but class is permanent, and he is all but class. And again, he proves that even at his age, he is still an elite fullback. But that is enough of that game. We now move on to Sunday. Did you watch? I didn't watch this first one.
I caught glimpses of it, and I seen enough to make a prediction, man. It's scary what these bloody Panthers can do this late in the year. Yes, it's the Dragons are kind of, they're middle of the rung. They're kind of on the outside looking in, looking to gain traction to jump into the 8. But this performance didn't help them with that. They're facing a large plus and minus deficit. I don't know how much. I'm not currently looking at that. But man, these Panthers can do it all. It's super scary, and dare I say it, they will probably have a chance at going for 4 in a row. Unheard of. This is like NBA dominance, going for 3-peats, 4-peats, just even having, 5 times in the grand final. Well, if they get there this year, it will be their 5th straight appearance in an NRL grand final. Normally, with most regular teams, you make the finals, you either win or lose, but you lose a lot of players. Next season, you kind of not fall off, but you struggle to get back there again because, boy, it's a long season. It's a tough season. It's not about winning a couple games here and there. It's not like the NFL where you got 17 tough weeks. It's 27 relentless weeks of showing up for one another and then losing most of your key players for origin duties at some point in that season. The Panthers, man, they were depleted for most of the season, and they still found ways to win. I've just got to, take my hat off to these guys. Nathan Cleary with the hat trick. 2 games back, and he's scoring a hat trick. He went 7 from 8, only missed 1, and I'm assuming it was from out wide. But, bro, what a dude, man. What a dude. He is, slowly cementing his legacy as a future immortal and as one of the greats in this game. Just 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Himi Moses. Man, the Nathan Cleary, he is that guy. He's that dude, man. And, he's got a great supporting cast. I'll give him that. But you can't deny this team are that much better with him on the paddock. And, man, this Panthers team scary, and if Penrith get to lock in that contract, I think it was like a 10-year contract or something. Him and his dad committed to the Panthers. They want them to be Panthers for life. So yeah, they're looking to lock in a big time contract. The only thing that could potentially be the downfall of this Penrith Panthers is if Nathan Cleary's partner manages to convince him to come over to England, play the rest of his career out at Super League, while she has her football career in the Women's Premier League in the UK, which could potentially happen. I mean, what has he got? 3 NRL Grand Final victories. He's got an Origin victory. He's got an Australian World Cup victory. Well, did he play in that team? Let me backtrack that first.
What, the one that won the World Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in
in
the team. It was him and
Cherry.
Munster. They were the halves. Nah, DC was the one that
yeah.
didn't make the team. Well, 18th man, I think.
All right. So, yeah, man. But look, shout out to the Panthers on that big win away from home at Win Stadium, Wollongong. Yeah, Dragons, keep going, boys. You're there or thereabouts. You just need to keep winning a few more games. Panthers, roll tide. Over to you for the Titans v Dolphins.
Surprisingly, I actually did watch this game. I know I talk about it all the time, Queensland derbies, but it's because that's right. I fell asleep. And I woke up just in time for this game. And I'll tell you what, man, this game, final score, Titans get up 21-14. It's all about the Des Hasler spray at halftime because that first half, or Dolphins. Tavita Pangai Jr., looking like an elite prop, scores the first try of the game. Dolphins were just dominant. I mean, to say the least, they owned them in their first half. Brian Kelly scored a try late in their first half to kind of make the score look closer than what it actually was. But honestly, it was all Dolphins. In the second half, at halftime, Des Hasler gives the classic Des Hasler spray. Titans come out, score a couple of tries, and you could just feel the momentum shift. And they were able to pretty much stifle the Dolphins' attack in their second half, take control, end up coming away with the hard-fought 21-14 win. In terms of players that were impressive, Jalen Campbell was pretty good. Khan Pereira is just a finisher.
Yeah.
And a really, really good finisher. For the Dolphins, Tavita Pangai Jr. looked good. They didn't. The second half kind of fell away from them because they just didn't complete any sets. I think it was something like they only completed something like maybe half of their sets that they had in the second half. It was bad. Like it was all bad. But the turning point was Jack Bostock. Not one, but 2 tries disallowed.
Oh.
The first one it got called back. It was shepherding from Farnworth. Farnworth sent him back under, and he kind of went into a defender who, I think it was a centre, who actually got back in line to make a tackle and just missed Bostock. But then they said Farnworth then carried on and he hit Foreign. But then Foreign still had enough time to get back into the tackle. There were like 4 or 5 of them that tried to stop Bostock, and he still put the ball down. But that try got sent back. And then it was like the 4th tackle, play the ball was right on their line. Quick play the ball, Bostock got it and pretty much just jumped, like hurdled over the play the ball to put the ball down. And they got called back because he knocked it on. So 2 tries... 2 disallowed tries from Jack Bostock ended up being the difference. And man, he was talking smack too. Should have seen what, he scored that first one, and he was talking smack to pretty much all 5 of them that tried to tackle him. It was the funniest shit ever. But, got called back. So shout out to the Titans who got the job done. I think their season still might be over though. It's a little bit too late. And to the Dolphins, they are quickly sliding out of this 8, and if they don't turn it around, they could also be on that trip to Thailand or Bali or wherever they go. But that's all I got for you, man. I'll hand it over to you for
the last game on
The Raiders,
Sunday
yeah.
at Gill Stadium. Canberra Raiders hosted and thrashed the South Sydney Rabbitohs. It was 32-12, the final score over there in a cold Canberra stadium. It really helps, this Raiders team having Fogarty back. They managed to steal a victory last week against the Warriors at home, and now they've stolen another one. Well, they didn't actually steal this game. This game was pretty much an out-and-out thrashing. Although they only scored one try in the second half, so did the Bunnies. It was your boy, Tallis D, getting over the line for that one there, but it wasn't enough to get the Bunnies within a sniff. Fogarty, man, his kicking game. 5 from 5 from the conversions and the one penalty goal. And just his in-game kicking, bro. He's definitely what the Raiders missed. And, this is the kind of impact and kind of lift that you expected Mitchell Moses to bring with the Parramatta Eels when he came back. You expected them to have that lift. Like, it wasn't just a one-off game for Fogarty. It's been, now 2 in a row. So look for big things from him. The stats look kind of even throughout. It's just Raiders getting it done on the outset. Not really too much to say on this overall, this game. Raiders keep on keeping on. And I think, like you said on the before we started the show, I think with this win for the Raiders and this loss for the Bunnies, I do think the Bunnies are out of the race. So before we do kick into our breakdown of the Broncos versus the Bulldogs, I'll just quickly go through who I think are out and who I think still have a chance. And if you give your thoughts in as well. So we'll just go through the ladder, you on yours, me on mine. So Tigers are out, probably got the spoon. Eels are out. They might fight for the spoon. Bunnies are done. They're safe from the spoon. I think the Titans are done. Broncos are done. Warriors, I think, rely on hypotheticals to happen, but I think there's still a chance. I mean, they won last weekend, so there's still a chance. The Knights have Penrith next, and I think that might be enough to keep them out. Dragons, I think their points differential will come to haunt them in the long run. I think they're out. Raiders, it's a tough game versus the Bulldogs this weekend. Raiders, I think, are in with a chance. I think the Raiders have a chance. Dolphins have a chance. Obviously, they're still in the 8, so they have a chance to stay in the 8. Seagulls have a chance. Cowboys have shown they're fighting for a chance. Bulldogs definitely showcased they've got every right to be in that top side and potentially push towards being in that top 4. Sharks, they'll stay in the 8, but I think they might finish outside of that top 4. If they finish in the 4, very lucky. Roosters, Panthers, Storm, all should be in the top 4. Panthers, Storm, I think, will be fighting for that number 1 spot, but it looks like Melbourne will take it away with a few more wins than their Panthers counterpart. And I think Melbourne have more wins over Penrith because Melbourne wasn't really depleted during Origin period. They had pretty much an untouched side with Munster being injured for most of the season. Wishart's been that 6th for the majority of that Storm season. So those are my opinions on who's in and who's out and who has a slight chance.
Mine doesn't actually look all that different to you. I've got these are the teams who I think are just out. Tigers, Eels, Rabbitohs, Titans, Broncos, Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Knights have an outside chance, as well as the Dragons. I think those two. So those two I think won't make it, but they have an outside chance to make it.
Yeah.
And then the Raiders, Dolphins. I actually think it's the Raiders that'll get in. The Dolphins will be the ones that miss. And then from Seagulls up, so I think Seagulls, Cowboys, Bulldogs, Sharks, Roosters, Panthers, Storm will all make the 8. So for me, there's 7 teams like the top 7 as it stands on the ladder. I think those 7 will make the playoffs. And then I think the Raiders get in, Dolphins miss, with the Knights and Dragons having an outside chance from 12 down. I think they're just all done. And same with you, I think the Storm have pretty much locked up that minor premiership. The Cowboys still have a bye, so they're actually ahead of us on the ladder. The one thing holding the Sharks in play is their points differential. I don't know if the Cowboys can make up 100 points, where I think we could, but they would rely on the Sharks losing a few games and us matching them on points. So yeah, I don't think it'll be too different. It's starting to settle now, the table. It's still quite close in terms of points, but I just think it looks like everyone plays each other, or the ones that need to win are playing, the top tier teams, which isn't going to go well for them.
And the cream's rising, man. The cream's rising to the top. I mean, you look at the next games. The Storm have the Dragons next, which kind of put the Dragons out of contention, I think, because 92 points against isn't really favourable for you. And you're going up against Melbourne next. Going to be tough. Panthers taking on the Knights. The Knights got a 97 points against. If the Panthers don't score 40, Knights might be in with a smoky chance, but it's going to be tough. Roosters play the Dolphins, and, that might be what kicks those Dolphins out and lets the Raiders in. However, the Raiders are going up against you guys, which might be a bit of a tough game. The Sharks are going up against the Bunnies, and I can no longer tell what team the Sharks are going to play as on that day. Are they going to show up and be world beaters, or are they going to show up and just, flail like a lemon shark or a hammerhead? What do they want to be? A great white? Because right now they're acting like lemon sharks, man. No good. And the Bunnies, well, now the Bunnies can kind of just play to wreck people's seasons. So they'll just be going out there to kind of have fun now. Season's over for them. Same with the Broncos. We play the Titans, so we're playing for 13th place. Lol. Winner stays at 13th, loser goes to 14th. That's pretty much how that one's going to go. I could probably say the Titans will win this because it's at home and it's on the Gold Coast for the Titans, and they beat us last time out. Warriors play Parramatta. You could probably say Warriors get up over Parramatta in that game, but who knows? It's going to be interesting, but the easiest game of the weekend, I think, is the Cowboys taking on the Tigers, and I think it's a home game for the Cowboys, which they should easily win. Who wants to start this, bruh? Do you want me to get the negative shit out of the way so you can just get into the positive stuff and round up the show that way? Or do you want to start on the positive and then finish with the negative?
I don't really mind.
I'll get in. I'll spray the boys for what will be the last spray of the season, I think, because it's done after this. Nothing really matters whether we win or lose, but I don't think we're going to win many more games. The season's just been pathetic. It's been laughable, really, the amount of performances that we've put up, and it's been lackluster. Like 16-41, we played zero defense. We had no attack. Bloody, what's his name? Kevy's trying to blame it on Origin period being too taxing for the boys. It might have been. And yeah, that's 3 of our key players that did play throughout that Origin period, but other players have backed up. Other players are doing just fine. Yeah, there's a few injuries. I mean, Crichton's not playing this week. He was injured. I know, what's his name? Edwards is injured still. But you've got other forwards that play just as tough. Look at Angus Crichton. He's still playing at the Roosters. He's going tough. He's doing it tough. It was just, zero effort from our boys. Even with Adam Reynolds, they still looked lost out there. We definitely have shown this season we have zero depth in the side. I think Billy Walters stayed out on that field a little bit too long. I think you need to let Blake come in a little earlier. He definitely looked like the attack was moving when he came on, but it just took him a little bit longer to get into the game, to get his wheels under him and get a feel with the boys. Billy just slowed it all down too much. He's the coach's son, so he's always going to have a starting spot. It's sad to see the team go down this way, but what I think really stood out for the Broncos was the defensive efficiency, the defensive effort and intensity that Katoni Staggs put on show. He definitely showed that he is our where our money should have went. We should have spent less on Ezra Mam so we could give Katoni Staggs a big contract. I think Selwyn Cobbo was carrying an injury into this game and was brought up prematurely. I know Payne Haas didn't train all week. He only made it to Friday's training in the captain's run, so he might have been carrying a niggle and then was forced to play 71 minutes. You definitely feel the entire attack and defense kind of goes stagnant with Carrigan off and with Payne Haas off the field, especially when they both are off together. There's not a lot to go for. There's not a lot of defense through the middle. We get torn up through the middle. Our edges got exposed a lot. It was Cobbo's edge that got exposed a lot. That's what I was talking about in the preview show. If Cobbo's on the wing, it's not going to be a good time because he just likes to come up and jam really quickly and often. And that leaves Katoni Staggs having to backpedal and make those cover tackles, which we've seen him make a lot of. But I think that was 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 tackles too many that he had to make out of desperation for errors that weren't his own. And then with his spectacular try to end out the first half, man, that was all effort there from Katoni Staggs. Super player. Definitely where the money needs to go. And if we don't keep him, wherever he goes, I will follow, man. Not my whole allegiancy, but I will definitely become a fan of that club wherever you go. I'm still going to be Bronco for life, but wherever Katoni Staggs ends up, I'll definitely keep a close eye on. Man, dude is a player. What else let us down? Corey Oates, I thought, did well off the bench, and maybe I'd like to see a little bit more of that, of him coming off the bench. I don't want to see him starting, especially if those rumours are true about Cobbo. Definitely don't want to see him starting. I'd like to see Karapani come into that centre spot and then shift Dean back to the wing and then have Corey Oates come off the bench later in the game because he's going to have a little bit of pace, enough to kind of keep up with some of the tired backs and forwards. So, that's something that they could definitely look into. Now, I just want to give a huge, props to the coach, man. The coaching of the Bulldogs is definitely what was the undoing of the Broncos. They were just ready for this game, I think, defensively. It was a spirited effort, eh? You could see from 1 through to 17, they were ready for the challenge. Even without Critter, there was big headlines around Critter not being available for this game, and people were writing the Bulldogs off. I did say in the chat, man, you can never say never. Look at the performance of these Broncos in recent weeks. Last week was a fluke. But nah, man. I think Toby Sexton's kind of solidified that role, at that 7. You don't need to worry about Hutchinson coming back. Connor Tracy, man, we supposed to have the electrifying fullback, not you. We're supposed to have that guy, and he's out here scoring 3 tries. Man, it was ridiculous from him. And then bloody Jacob Preston just causing our edge there. Just a headache, man. He was just breaking through almost every tackle, just getting players open. He was so good to watch. No one could stop him, man. He was a cheat code almost on that edge. It was, where do we get one of those? And that's, I think, the issue of the Broncos compared to the Bulldogs is the Broncos, I think we've brought or paid the wrong players in the wrong positions, whereas the Bulldogs have brought in the right players in the right positions for this team. Or the Broncos need a coach that can get the best out of his current team. Mm-hmm. I don't think Kevy's maximized the potential of each of these players, not as individuals, nor as a team. And that is my biggest knock on this Broncos side this year. And the only reason we made it as far as we did last year is because we had Adam Reynolds for the majority of that season. The reffing in this game was poor. It's not the reason we lost, but it was 100% shocker from that ref. Even the commentators were confused at some of his missed calls and lack thereof refereeing. And then he was confused when there was a fight that almost broke out. It's like, dude, you've lost control of the game. You've missed half the calls. You missed like a rag goal on Reynolds after a kick where he just gets freaking collared down to the ground and it's just play on. Whereas earlier in the half, it was a penalty against the Broncos when they interfered with a kicker. So that was kind of confusing, but it had nothing to do with the final score at the end of the day, man, because the Bulldogs just came ready to play. So full credit to the Bulldogs, man. It was a hell of a game from them. It was a hell of a game from them. They were out there playing chess while we were trying to play checkers. We had no line breaks. We had no tackle breaks. We were just getting suffocated, bruh. So, yeah, you get the nod this year, brother, and hope you guys go well in the postseason. This is my season over and done. But yeah, you guys keep clawing, keep fighting, man. It's gonna be a fun run to the finals for you guys.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see this game coming. I was in the chat, once Critter was gone and looking at our record at Suncorp, I'd already admitted defeat, pretty much. I was all like, and it was based on a few things. Yes, Critter not being there was one of the factors. Yes, knowing that we hadn't won in Suncorp in 9 years, that was another factor. Right, but a couple of the factors was more so who in your team. I'm so scared of Reynolds. He absolutely demolishes the Bulldogs every time he plays them. I know because I got vivid memories of him doing it over and over again. So I know what he can do. I've talked about how smart our forward pack is, and you have one of the best forward packs in the game. You have arguably the best prop, arguably the best lock. And when I look at how good they are, just knowing that they were going to have a field day against our middle forwards, knowing that one of our guys, Max King, wasn't going to be there. So I was just worried for all of those reasons that I never actually considered like what the boys can do and how they would play. So I kind of dismissed like what we brought to the table and how our defense would hold up, because honestly I just thought Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan would just roll over us. And at the start it kind of looked like they did, because you just got off to the better start. But once we kind of found a rhythm, we kind of, in a way, never let you back in. And it was one of the best performances I've ever seen. I've seen us play an amazing first half, followed by a terrible second half where we almost lose a game. I've seen us start off games terribly, then have an absolutely amazing second half. This is the first game that I felt in a long time where we played the full 80 minutes, and it just looked like we were in total control. Obviously, I have to give a shout out to Serrato. You talked about it. His game plan was just next level. And I love that, like, to me, this is what I thought he did it. Obviously, we know your shrinks in the middle. Like, we know we can never take on your forward pack, and that's just silly to do so. Like, you're just going to absolutely destroy us. So I felt the idea was, well, if we can't beat them in the middle, let's just shift them from left to right. And most of our plays, most of our sets out of a tackle, even coming off of our own line, were first two hit ups, and it was a third place shift. Whether it was to the left or the right, it didn't matter. And you could see everyone. It was set up quite early, and you could tell it set up early because all the players, like the second rounds, were all in their players. Everyone was on their blocks, and they knew what was going to happen. And pretty much all we did, right, was it went from Reed to the number 7, and he had options. It was either a face ball for that second row, play out the back to Tracy. Tracy would get it. He then had a few options, right? He could either go to pretty much the same thing, either go to the center or shift it to the winger. Or sometimes he'll just give early ball to the center. And it just worked a treat. I thought that was an amazing coaching decision. Obviously they had done their homework on the Broncos and seen what they like to do in defense, especially when teams are coming out of their 20, and he exploited it. We didn't even try. It felt like we didn't even try go through the middle because you're just running into Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan. You're not going to win that battle, So quick shifts, go to the edge, where you've been on the podcast many a times saying how bad Cobber is on an edge, and attack there. And man, you said it. Stag stopped so many tries; it was ridiculous. Like, Cherry would get on the outside of him a few times. Stag just cool, calm, collected. I thought he was probably your best player. His defense was just next level. He shot down so many opportunities we had. But credit to the boys, they kept at it. A few of our tries I thought were well deserved, and I felt they were well worked. Although there was that one where you just let the ball bounce. Obviously, that was, pretty lucky, because I'm pretty sure Reed shanked that kick. Like, I'm pretty sure he wasn't meant for it to go there. That was just a pure shank. And Carrez just happened to one-hand it. And, one of the best tries we've seen of the year. So super proud of the boys. I thought they got up for this game. I wasn't surprised by our defense, and I think in a way that limited the impact of your forwards. Because Burden's so good at getting those kicks within the 10 or within the 20, and you have Kikau with his hard charge. Their first tackle, right, happens to always be within the 10 or inside the 20. You then have our defenses kind of set. That's one of the things I noticed was every Burden kick, every time your player caught it, there was like a whole line of Bulldog players already there. And then would make that tackle, and then that first pass up, you had another 4 or 5 Bulldogs pretty much waiting. So by the time, the Payne Haases and the Carrigan got back into the play, you were already on play 3 or 4. So they can't really get the ball rolling. Of all they've got to work with is 1 tackle or 2 tackles in their set. You're pretty much just getting to the kick. So I thought that was, and that's something we've been really good at. And I got to give credit to the boys, because every time we come up against a team that's got a mean forward pack, I'm always worried. But because of Burden's kicking, kickouts, chasing, we're always, more often than not, and it's been the case for most of the year now, we're pretty good at winning the first 3 tackles of a set, just with our rushing defense, not giving away penalties. And what that means is that their team can't get a roll on. By the time they do, they're just setting up for the kick. And it's been a point of emphasis for us, and I think it's really played into why we're being able to pin teams in their end and make them do like pretty much a kick to get out of trouble, as opposed to like not that many attacking kicks. There was a turning point, I felt, the end of that first half, when Reese scored that try, and then the Hammer scored. Oh, not Hammer. Stag scored his try. I honestly felt like, oh no, we've done so much work. I felt we should have been up 20, and we're only going into halftime with a 6-point lead, and the Broncos got all the momentum. Not gonna lie, I was pretty scared. But then we did our thing. We were able to go 90 meters, I felt, in our first set, and then kick our scores. And from there, I just felt like you could sense the Broncos had, in a way, given up. Not really given up, but you could see their head drop. It was like, what the hell's happening here? Like, honestly, felt like they got ambushed and they just couldn't get out of it. Like, they didn't know how to get out of it, and I think that showed in the players that they're, the disorganization that they had on their part, not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go.
Even after that 40-20 from Reese, and they didn't know what the fuck they were up to. We had perfect field position and just nothing.
Yep, it was, right? You guys scored that try and next play down. And you know what was crazy about that? Like, even though, like, going back to that moment, right? Wishwas scores that try. We kick off. I can't remember who the forward was. Whether it was, I think it might have been Willison. Does the run off, and we push him back into the end goal, or to like the your guys' try line. And I was thinking, holy shit, that was like he manages to get the pass off in time.
Hetherington.
Yeah, well that's the play I'm talking about, where off the back row, we drive them back, looks like it's gonna be a drop kick, gets rid of the pass, you guys get out of trouble, and then 2 plays later, the Reese Rush 40-20 happens. And I was just thinking, like, are you kidding me? Because I thought you guys scored. We had this big momentum play. I was like, yes, we just got him back, like, in your face. Doesn't happen. And then he does that, and I was like, oh, no. Are you kidding me? Luckily, we were able to hold on. Burden, I don't know what he was up to at the end of that first half, just trying to be a little bit too fancy. Try to do the sunny, hey.
Oh,
And then, you
fuck.
know, gets punished with the stag try. But no, never been proud of the boys, man. That just, I feel as though we have to be in the playoffs now. Have to be on the back of that performance. And we just have to keep going. What we can't have is have that be a statement victory followed by a lackluster loss where we just don't show up. I don't think that's the case because we're at Balmore next week. Spiritual home of the Bulldogs, for those that don't know. So the boys should definitely get up. And with this close, they must know that there are a few wins away from locking up a top 8. And now that close, that honestly top 4 seems like it's reachable. Big shout out to obviously Connor Tracy. He's giving me low-key Dylan Edward vibes. Just works hard in the right spot. Not much of a... He's not as big, not as strong, but he just does his job, plays his role. Toby Sexton is our 7. I don't really want to hear anything else. We need to re-sign him. Like we need to re-sign him. He's growing in tenfolds, and he's actually been our dominant half the last 2 weeks, and it's crazy. No longer is it about our left side. I mean, our left side's always going to be like our dangerous side, our strike side. But with the way Toby Sexton's playing, now we can score both sides. And it's so dangerous because he's unlocking that side. You let Burden do all the long kicks, the territory kicks. But Sexton's short kicking game. That's 2 weeks now where he's set up tries off his short little grubber. Like, he's perfected that. Yeah, it's so he can see it too. Like, he can see it from a mile away. And he sets it up with the quick little dummy, put it through. It's just perfect, man. Toby Sexton, he's our 7. I hope we sign him long term. We really do need him because him and Burden feel like they're just getting better each and every game. Skilton, that's probably the best game I've seen him play. I didn't watch the Roosters game where everyone said the Roosters game we lost, where everyone said he played really, really well. I didn't see that. To me, this was his best game. He just gets metered out of yardage, looks dangerous, and Carrez back to centre. He looked dangerous. So it begs questions, man. Like, Skelton deserves to be a winger for us. But from rumour has it, Josh Adokars due back, or he's going to be back. I think if he's not 100%, if he's even 95%, just let him rest for another week. If Critter's
we don't
back...
need to rush him, eh?
Nah, I don't think we do.
Get the luxury.
Yeah. I think we can let him take as long as he needs. Critter to come back... Honestly, our best wingers might be Skelton on one side and Carrez on the other. Because then you have 2 people who just eats up meters, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think those 2 will do great coming out
You
of backfields.
kind of got to think about it like, how will they match up against To'o Taruva? Like that's how you got to think about it. When you're heading into the finals, like that's the matchups. Yep. Can they get equal meters as a To'o Taruva off the back fence late in the sets? Like, you know, tired forwards on both sides. They've done a lot of tackling, so they don't really want to do the hit ups. Can these boys get big meters? Can the Fox get big meters? Like, you know, you got to kind of figure out how you can tactically like match meter for meter with the Panthers.
Yep, that's it, man. And I think with those 2, I don't think we could like beat them, but I feel as though we could match them, or at worst, their advantage wouldn't be as big, you know. So we could limit the damage that those 2 make, or those 3 make, by damage that our 3 could make. So yeah, I think don't think anyone had a bad game. Bailey Hayward, he's impressing me more. I really like Kurt, man. He's doing good. Samuel Hughes gets us off to solid starts. Curran, I mean, he's just getting better and better, I feel. The more he
Yeah, man. Who
plays,
do you
yeah.
think's been your buy of the season, Curran or Critter?
Critter, just because the captaincy and the winning mentality he's brought, but Curran wouldn't be far behind. I
What's an
mean,
area
those
of your
two,
guys?
those two, Tracy, he'll be up there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a big pickup too.
yep.
I was gonna say, what's an area of your guys' game do you think you need to sew up before you've got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games left? What do you guys have to work on over these next 6 games? One thing I think is you got to make sure not to take your foot off the gas because you kind of got, I'm not going to say easy games, but these are all winnable games. You got the Raiders up next, then the Dragons, then the Dolphins, then the Warriors. Seagulls might be a difficult one, and then the Cowboys. And,
Mm.
if by then the season's locked up for the Cowboys, you're playing their third string team. So, what are some things that you guys can sew up to make sure you don't let the foot off the gas and, lull yourself into these are winnable games. We don't need to play full capacity.
Mm. One thing I'm worried about, and I think it's cost us in the past, is just mistakes, like self-made mistakes, self-made wounds, as you will. When we complete at a high level and we don't give teams like good field position through our mistakes, we're a hard team to beat, I feel. Because really, I haven't seen many teams like go 80 meters against us. Like, obviously, Tony Staggs did it, but he had to beat what, one, two, three players to do it, So, and that was just brilliance of the man,
Yeah, that was he
just
backed
pure, like,
himself the whole way.
yeah, pure brilliance. So if teams have to score through like individual brilliance against us and go like over 50 meters score a try, I feel as though we give ourselves a chance. And our defense has given us a chance every game this season. Our offense could always get a little bit better, but I feel as though we're finding a nice balance now. Now I feel as though we can attack you from both sides, left and right. It's just completion rate and not doing stupid errors. No repeat sets, which, I mean, they're going to happen, but them happening at critical times. No penalties, no drop balls coming out of yardage, just stuff like that. If we can cut those out, cut down our errors or self inflicted wounds, I think we could go a long way. Yeah.
Hard up. Nah, and that was yeah a strong performance from the Bulldogs. So
Mm.
take nothing away from that victory for you guys. It was just an outstanding performance, well
Yeah.
coached from
That's what I
start to
wanted to say
finish.
about your team. I kind of haven't really been that harsh on Kiwi as you have. I've pretty much tried to find like reasons for it. Like, oh, you have had a lot of injuries, Origin, but that's that was a bad loss for him
Yeah, he got
because
outclassed.
what I didn't see was adjustments. I didn't see an
Yeah,
adjustment from the first half to the second half, and that's something that as a coach, like, if they're spreading the ball on the third every time and now exposing you on the wings every time, you have to adjust that at half. Like, you have to. And I didn't
yep,
see that from him. I didn't see him change. And that was one of the first times where I was like, oh, I see it. Like, I see what he's talking about now. I
the
see why he goes
frustration,
off at
eh?
him. Yeah, I saw the frustration. And I was like,
Yeah.
that really wasn't, that was a bad loss on his resume. And
Oh yeah.
I just didn't see a change. He didn't adjust. I felt he didn't adjust. He didn't like do anything to like alter it or to try to switch the momentum. Like, some coaches, right, will bring a player off the bench earlier than expected. If the game's not going anywhere, they'll try like make an impact. Maybe it's through interchange, maybe it's switching a player in and out, or just trying something different. I just didn't see that from him. Which,
Yeah, he lacks urgency, and I think a lot of his adjustments, he just relies on his rotations when they come in. When it's their time to come in, he just relies on that rotation to change the game,
yeah,
like it did. last year, but last year's a different beast. Last year's the past. We lost last year at the grand final, and this season, with the team that we've got on paper, you'd expect the Broncos to be at very least a top 8 side.
Yep.
On paper, they should be top 4, pushing top 2.
Yeah. That was definitely the first game where I was like, oh, I see it. I see what he's talking about. And I see why you're frustrated. So, he needs to be careful, man, because if this trend keeps going, where you're losing like that and there's no adjustment, then it does become the call, well, maybe he does need to go.
He does, man. He does. It's time, man. Yeah. What are we sitting? We've got 8 wins and 11 losses. 8 wins and 11 losses.
Yeah.
That's pathetic. For a team that's, used to be as esteemed as the Broncos once were. We were the perennial team in Queensland. Now we're not even the perennial team in Brisbane. Belongs to the Dolphins. Like, could you imagine that? And I'll be damned if we lose against the Dolphins in our second to last game of the season. GG's in the chat, straight up. GG's in the chat. It took the Cowboys like almost 10 years to beat us when they first came into the comp. I don't know how long it took the Titans, but the Dolphins, you can't let them beat you in the second year. There's GG's in the chat. I don't care what's going on. I don't care. Yeah, it's just a lot of things have gone wrong this season for the Broncos, but the coaching hasn't been up to standard, man. Kevy's got to go.
Yeah.
And if Brad Arthur's looking for a job, hara mai koe. Someone.
It's crazy to think, right? Because, like, you give Wayne Bennett this team, your Broncos, like, obviously he's the Broncos' greatest coach, Like, you just know that they're not in 13th place. You just know if Wayne Bennett has this team, at worst, I'd say use a 4th.
Yeah.
It's
just poorly coached. No X's and O's. No nothing.
Yep. And one thing that might start happening is, I don't know if it's already happened, he might start losing the players. You lose the locker room.
Wow. You see the effort they put in on Saturday night?
Yeah.
It's been the season. Katoni Staggs, Paddy Carrigan, those are the only 2 players that have stood up to see. Payne Haas has as well. Yeah, I'll give him that. Payne Haas has given his all. Reece Walsh has flashes of brilliance. Ezra Mam, I don't know what he's doing. He's almost invisible outside of run support. He doesn't set up our attack very well.
I don't know what the hell happened to Man, because I felt in the first half of the season he was really, really good.
Because Adam Reynolds was there.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, true that. I think that was it, because honestly, I had him as one of the elite 6s for the first half of the season. That's how good he was going. That's like how good I thought he was playing. But yeah, the second half, he's just nah, not it.
He's a good Robin. He's not a Batman.
Yes. As we've talked about it quite often, some people are Robin, some people want to be Batman, but just aren't Batmans.
Which is why you'll probably understand now why he was one of the first players that I traded in our GM mode.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, let's head over to the power rankings brought to you by Your Chocolate Milk. Give us a promo.
Yes, the best chocolate milk in the game. I dare you to find one better. We got Lewis Creamy Roads chocolate, of course, made by Whittaker's, who also makes some of the best chocolate in the game. From New Zealand, right?
Yeah, bro. Sure? Yeah. Wellies. Porirua.
There you go. Straight from Porirua. We own.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the finest chocolate down there. The heartiest, some would say. The mightiest chocolate. So, yeah, sponsored, not sponsored. We should just call it like today's power rankings, not sponsored by, and then just bring anything through. Anyway, The practice runs power rankings for round 21 look like this. From bottom to top, we have the Parramatta Seals, the West Tigers, the St. George Illawarra Dragons, the Newcastle Knights. Because they were on a bye last week, they can't go up or down. The Brisbane Broncos are steadily dropping. The South Sydney Rabbitohs have also dropped down. The Warriors are sitting there in 11th. This is almost leveled out to where the current standings are. There's a couple of teams that are a little bit off. In 10th, we've got Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. The Canberra Raiders are there in 9th. Gold Coast Titans make it to the 8th. Dolphins at 7. Cowboys at 6. Warrior Seagulls at 5th. The Bulldogs in at 4th. The Roosters at 3rd. Panthers in at 2nd. And at number 1 for, I've given up counting, but Melbourne Storm hold out the top of the power rankings. Now heading over to our team of the week, still brought to you by the chocolate milk that Two's drinking. Fullback, because I didn't send the list through to the bro, so I'll just have to read it all out real quick. But at fullback, we have the Connor Tracy. On the wing, we've got Xavier Savage and Will Warbrick. In the centres, we've got Jacob Kiraz and Philip Sami. At our 5A, we've got Matt Burden, and halfback is Nathan Cleary. At our prop, we've got Adam Fanua-Blake and Griffin Niami. Our hooker is Tom Starling. Our second rowers look like Jeremiah Nanai and Jacob Preston, with Isaiah Yo holding out that lock spot for the first time in about 8 weeks. So welcome back, Isaiah Yo. Man, episode 50, it was a fun one. It was a great one. Thank you all so much for supporting us for as long as you have, and we appreciate your continued support. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with a friend. If you think someone should get into NRL, or if you think they should listen to this because it's funny, it's crack up, and they've got some interesting points of conversation, then share with them the practice run. Hit up TPR. You can check us out at 99dreams.co.nz and go support 99 Dreams. There's a few hats left, so come pick one up at the whānau. I'm going to throw it over to Two for the final word. Thank you all so much. Ka kite.
And that is it, our 50th episode. The big 5-0 done and dusted. As always, we would like to give a shout out to those who are listening on near and far. We really do appreciate your support. Come join us on the practice run. We're 50 episodes down. Many more to come. If you want to join in and be a part of this community, you are more than welcome. Especially if you're a West Tigers fan. We need someone to defend your honor. It's not looking good. Also, Eels fan, come defend that trash coach of yours. Although next year he won't be there. But other than that, we will leave it there. We've left you, you've been with us for a little bit. We'll let you go, and we will see you on Thursday. We will be our standard preview round of week 22. It's women. What are we celebrating this week?
Women in League. Yeah.
Women in League. Yes, that is what week 22 is all about, I believe. But until then, we will see you then. And until then, stay safe. And we will see you then. Cheer to the church. Mā te wā.